Hello boaters, I'm Brian from Canvas Factory with my son Fisher, who will be taking over the business. This is my daughter Brookie, Brook Crist Outdoors, and my son-in-law Viktor, Landshark Outdoors. And this is our new boat, and we're gonna show you a timed video of taking the boat cover off, as well as a timed video of putting the boat cover on. And then afterwards, I'm gonna talk about the materials a little bit.
So this is a 4-piece full boat cover, and the first thing you do is you get in the boat and you take a look at everything, and we have everything labeled. So red for port, green for starboard, and you kind of just plan out how you're gonna hang it all. You'll quickly begin to recognize what panels go where this would be your starboard side panel, and then on some boats there's going to be different characteristics that will allow you to identify each piece. Like the front of the cover has reinforcing. I would know this boat has a bracket for the trolling motor, and I know we had reinforcing for that. So every cover might be a little bit different, but you'll know your boat and you'll quickly pick up this piece and be like, oh, this is my front cover. And that's what you do first. You just look at all your pieces, know where they go. And so when you start, you're just, nothing's slowing you down. But the first thing I like to do is hang it before I do any snaps. You get all the zippers started so nothing gets hung up. It'll go real quick, you'll see, we'll time it, and it's just gonna flow right through.
The first thing we did is we hung these Costa tracks, and they're very strong. We put them up with a 2-sided foam tape plus a stainless steel screw every 4 inches. And what's really important, and you'll hardly ever see it, is see these stainless steel ends? They're not there just for bling. When you're pulling your canvas in and out, you will start to wear the edge of your track off, and after 5 years, it's hanging down because you've worn this out. With these stainless steel Costa track ends, that'll never happen, and these tracks will last the lifetime. There are cheaper tracks that we would never use. These Costa tracks are the strongest ones. So, and you know, if you look at them, they're nice looking. They don't bother me at all. You know, some people are afraid of hardware on their boat. This hardware is just part of the hardware it takes to keep your boat nice. The other thing about the hardware to keep your boat nice is the snaps. And if Dennis shows you, you can't see any snaps. Where's the snaps, Dennis? You see any snaps?
I do not.
That's right, because the snaps are down here. Now, if you're out of the boat, you can see the snaps. They're every 20 inches in a straight line, the same distance off the rub rail. They look nice. But when you're guests and you're in the boat boating, there's not a snap to be seen. People go on my website and they see my covers, and my covers sell themselves. They look at them, they're beautiful. I have to sell the snaps. And I'm gonna talk about my snaps a little later in this video. I've got a lot to say about the snaps, but we're not gonna do it right now. I'm gonna let Fisher go ahead, and we're gonna time him putting this cover on now.
Fisher, are you ready?
I'm ready.
We're gonna start the timer now and see how long it takes Fisher to put this cover on. And start.
Okay, this is our brand new boat. And the first thing we wanted to do was put a cover on it to keep our brand new boat looking brand new. And that's what I like to do. It breaks my heart when somebody waits to see the degradation of their cushions and their bolsters start to happen and then realize, oh, I need a cover. Well, I can't bring that back to you. I can keep it from getting any worse, but I can't bring that new boat luster back to you. So it's really important to get your full boat cover as soon as possible. And they're expensive, I know. So you just spent a lot of money on a boat, and now you gotta spend a lot more money on a full boat cover. But look at all this diamond stitching on this upholstery. If you don't cover it, the rain's gonna get on there, seep into all those stitches, you're gonna sit there and get a wet butt. You have to cover your boat. I'm so passionate about it. And so many people have had hard to use covers in the past on their previous boats. So they think, I don't want a cover. I'm not dealing with you know, spending 20, 30 minutes every time I go boating. Well, that's not true. And we're gonna show you that that's not true when Fisher's done here, we're gonna tell you how many minutes it takes to put on this cover.
All right,
But it will save you
front.
so much time, because you come back from boating, you wash your boat, you put your cover on. It may get windy like it is now. Look how windy it is. We're not going fishing today because the ocean's probably 5 foot. So Viktor told me it's going to blow for like 10 days straight. So we're not going to boat for at least 10 days. Sometimes life gets busy. You don't boat for a month. Well, guess what? You come back to your boat a month later, you take your cover off, and it's pristine, perfect, just like you left it. You don't have to wash your boat before you go boating and when you get back. You just have to wash it when you get back. It saves you a ton of time. It doesn't cost you time. And as expensive as these covers are, they pay for themselves. Because I guarantee you, if you put a cover like this on your brand new boat, 5 years later, your boat will definitely be worth more in resale value than what this cover cost you. So in all reality, the cover is free. It saves you money. You will sell your boat for more. It will save you a ton of time on maintenance. You wax the boat, or you what did we do to this boat, Viktor? We did what's the name of that company? We did Marine Detail Supply did a ceramic coat on this boat, and I don't know how long it would last, but I guarantee you it will last longer with a full boat cover. Whether it's a wax job or a ceramic job, it's going to last longer. Another way to save you money. You think you have to have your boat washed weekly, even though you're not using it? Not with a full boat cover on there. You don't have to wash it. So we're just showing you now how easy this cover is to put on. Look at Fisher snap these things on like a piece of cake. People think it's going to be hard. Look at him.
Well, one thing I'll point out to people is this is maybe the latest I've ever done one of these videos, and it's extremely easy. Sometimes people will have covers, and the first time they put it on, they might complain, oh, these snaps are tight, this and that. And we always tell them, when your cover's on for a week, it becomes much easier. And this would be a great example.
Okay, here we go with the time. Boom, done.
4 minutes and 32 seconds to put the full boat cover on.
I actually thought it was going to take, I was hoping he was going to do it in 5, but I thought, it might be a little more than 5. 4.5 minutes. And this boat is covered from end to end. We also have engine covers for this boat, but we couldn't put it on because the way we have them designed, they're for when the boat's on the lift, and they're so long that they would be hanging in the water. So we're not going to show you that. You know, even though those Suzukis are white, they're pretty and they're expensive. So we put a cover on them to keep them pretty.
And this boat either lives on a trailer or on a boat lift, so we haven't cut out any of the cleats. But if you are someone who says, oh, my boat's always parked on the port side, then we would cut out all these cleats, or I don't know which way, I might have a new dock soon, we'll cut out all your cleats. So depending on what kind of docking situation you have, we would make the boat to that spec.
Now, this is a 2850 Bluewater, so it's a little over 28 feet long, 4.5 minutes to put on. Now, listen, just because you have a bigger boat, whether it's a 35, a 36, Fisher did, you can go in our videos and find it, a 52-foot Scout. And Fisher put that, it was a 6-piece cover instead of 4. He put that cover on in 8 minutes and 11 seconds. So we don't care how big your center console is. We can put a cover on it that's easy to use and will keep your boat looking gorgeous. And that's what everybody wants, man. You buy a new boat, it's gorgeous. Let us help you keep it that way. You see these tracks? The wind's blowing, doesn't matter. No dirt is getting in there. A lot of people are so anti, oh, you're going to put screws in my boat. Oh, they're so anti-screws that they will hang these covers from the aluminum pipework of the T-top. That means your cover has a gap between the hard top and the cover of about 4 inches. And my neighbor wanted that for his boat because he was pulling that, oh, you're going to put hardware on my boat. I want one of these. I said, no, I'm not going to make it. I said, you know, if that's what you want, get somebody else to make it. I don't believe in them. So he did. I built him 2 sunshades, his engine covers, his enclosure, his full enclosure, his wings. I bought him everything. The only reason I didn't build his cover is he wanted it hung from the pipes, and I don't believe in it. So I went fishing with him, and he goes, get your camera out, get the video rolling. He takes his cover out. His console was filthy. He hadn't been out in his boat in I don't know how many weeks. But he goes, just like you told me, Brian. He's like, look, you got your camera rolling? He's hosing off his console because it was covered in dirt. He goes, you were right. And he actually tried to sell his cover on Facebook Marketplace because after he realized how dirty his boat got with that cover, he wanted one of mine. But he had already bought one, so he tried to sell it and he couldn't. So I never made him a full boat cover, but he regrets going that way. This does not hurt the looks of your boat. It only protects it.
All right, when we put the cover on, I didn't break a sweat. It was like you were home and you're tired after a day of fishing. Now we're imagining we're excited to go out fishing. We're gonna see really how fast we could take this off.
Start the timer now.
Snatch them snaps off, Fisher. There you go. That's the way to do it. People hate snaps. They call me up and they say, can't you build me a cover without snaps? I hate snaps. So the covers sell themselves. I have to sell the covers. So I'm like, okay, you hate snaps. Well, 99% of boats out there have chrome-plated brass snaps that corrode and become very difficult to use. That's one reason our snaps are going to work better than the snaps you're used to. Another reason is, I ask people, so you hate snaps. Do you lubricate your snaps? No. These snaps on this boat are lubricated, okay? Fisher and I lubricate every snap that we install because we can't stand snapping a snap one single time without lubrication. So the minute we make a cover, we're putting lubrication on each and every snap the second we put it in.
And stop. 1 minute and 16 seconds to take that cover off.
Man.
So if you think it's annoying to take the cover off before you go fishing, you're wrong.
Yep, it's easy as that. There's no downside to a cover. As long as you could break that idea that snaps don't look good on a boat, there's nothing bad. There's no reason not to get one. If you don't have a cover on your fancy boat, you're really doing yourself a disservice.
A lot of people, and boat salesmen alike, they'll sell an $800,000 boat to somebody and tell them, oh, you don't want one of those full covers. They're too hard to use. Bad advice. When that boat comes back to you 3-4 years later as a trade-in because the guy wants to buy a bigger boat, guess what? You're going to struggle selling his boat because you didn't sell him a full boat cover. His boat doesn't look as good. I had at Sundance Marine 2 identical boats come in. One had my full cover, one didn't. The one that had my full boat cover sold in under a week for asking price. It looked so much better than the one that didn't. A lot of these salesmen will say, oh, all you need is a helm seat cover and a console cover and a forward seat cover. Yeah, that's great. Why? This cover took 1 minute and 16 seconds to take off. How fast do you think you could take those 3 off? I doubt you'd do it in less than 1 minute and 16 seconds. And then to put it on, it took 4.5 minutes. How much quicker could you possibly put on 3 covers? Better than nothing, but we're covering the whole boat in 4.5 minutes. And here's another thing that this is a must, okay? With every full boat cover I build, I give people this. See this lubricant? It's like chapstick, okay? You take the snap, not the snap on the boat, because you're going to wash your boat and you wash the lubricant off. Once or twice a year, you just sit down on your boat, you take this little stick, it's as easy as that. You don't have to goop it on. You only need a tiny bit. Once or twice a year. How many of you guys out there are doing this? If you do this, you will be like, oh my gosh, my snaps work so much better. Same thing with cushions. A cushion with snaps needs lubrication even more than a cover because it's sitting in that salty, moist environment, really taking a beating. I've upgraded my materials. I've been doing this for 39 years, okay? And my covers are not inexpensive. We take a lot of time to make them fit the way they do, and we use all the best materials we can get our hands on. In 39 years, I have never found a material that I like better than Sunbrella for my canvas covers. I have customers, my neighbor down the street, I built him a full boat cover on his 32 Boston Whaler. He came over the other day to get a little zipper repair. 14 years old. He's got a black Sunbrella cover. I will give you a little secret about Sunbrella. The darker the color you choose, the longer it will last. Okay? So, years ago I used to use a polyester thread. It was the best thread I could get my hands on. Lasted like, the white would last 5 years, the black would last like 6 or 7. That was good longevity. I've restitched other people's canvas that wore out in less than a year. I couldn't believe, it must be buying the cheapest thread they can find. Well, now I'm not buying cheap thread at all. This thread, it's very expensive, but supposedly it lasts the life of the canvas. It's called Solar Fix. I really like this thread. Most people, it's a PTFE thread. Chlorine doesn't hurt it. UV rays doesn't hurt it. It's supposed to last the life of the material. At first I tried, Gore-Tex, and I tried like 4 or 5 brands of PTFE thread. It's different than polyester thread. I couldn't get a pretty stitch. I'd get all these samples from different companies and I'd sew and I'm like, man, this stitch looks awful. I can't use this stuff. And then finally, I tried this Solar Fix and my machines liked it. So you can see, I've got a pretty stitch with Solar Fix, the PTFE thread. So finally, now, it cost me a lot, but guess what? You don't have to come back 6, 7 years later if you still have the same boat and get your canvas restitched. It's once and done. Now here's something I want to tell you that's really important, is the snaps that I use. I've already said it in the video, 99% of boats out there, and I don't care if you're on a $40 million yacht or a very inexpensive boat, 99% use a chrome-plated brass snap with a stainless steel screw in it. That's 3 dissimilar metals in a saltwater environment. They corrode very quickly. They're terrible. So I would say for probably 30 years now, I've been using a stainless steel snap. It's 304 stainless steel. Much more money. I assume that's why canvas shops don't use them, because I see these corroded snaps everywhere. And that's why it's hard to sell a snap on cover, because people have had corroded snaps and they hate them. They corrode in the canvas and they pop out of the canvas because they get so corroded they fall apart. These are stainless steel socket, stainless steel cap, and a stainless steel stud. They will last the life of the canvas. Well, I said I upped my game. I finally found a 316 stainless steel snap. For 30 years, I've been using 304 stainless. They were good. They were 10 times better than chrome-plated brass. But after, I can show you a snap on my boat. I put snaps in my boat 10 years ago. And if you look, you'll see a little brown discoloration in there. It's called stainless. It's not called stain proof. It's called stainless. So there's that brown color is rust. There's not much. I'll show them to you. They don't look bad at all, but they had a little bit of brown. So I'm hoping now I'm going to pay even more for these 316 stainless, and hopefully We don't get that little bit of brown discoloration after 10 years. And then it'll be even easier to speak good about snaps. So you got the Sunbrella canvas, you got the lifetime PTFE thread, you got the 316 stainless steel snaps, you got to lubricate it. All those things are important. I want to say something else about Sunbrella. When we were picking out this boat, they get out your samples, what color you want your boat, what color you want your vinyl, what brand of vinyl do you want? And Ken at Bluewater said, we like to use Sunbrella vinyl. Music to my ears. I know almost everything about canvas. I love Stamoid, I love Weblon, I love Sunbrella. I use all these products for different applications, okay? For vinyl, there's thousands of them. Which one lasts the longest? It's so hard to know. Which one won't have pinking? Which one's going to deteriorate in the sun in a short period of time? When Sunbrella put their name on a marine vinyl, I didn't have to search anymore. I'm like, okay, that's what I'm using. I'm using Sunbrella vinyl, and it feels good, it looks good, and it hasn't been out that long, but I'm thinking we're going to get real good longevity out of this Sunbrella vinyl. So I've been in the canvas business for 39 years. I build everything. I build enclosures, I build covers, I build seat covers, I build sunshades. My passion is what I just showed you. I love building full boat covers on these center console boats because I like to fish. So I really like fishing boats. So that's my passion. I'll cover any kind of boat, but I just get excited when I get on a fishing boat with lots of rod holders. It just makes me excited. But I can only build you one of these beautiful custom covers if you're local. If you're on the west coast of Florida, New Jersey, I can't help you. They're custom. However, I've developed a formula where I can build you a sunshade just like the one I'm going to set up here, and I don't care where you're at. I've shipped them to Puerto Rico, I've shipped them to Mexico, I've shipped them all over the East Coast, I've shipped them to California, Hawaii. I can walk you through the measurements so that you can get a custom sunshade just like the one I'm going to show you. So I'm going to set it up now. What you'll get is a custom padded bag with these gorgeous, again, 316 1.25 inch stainless steel poles. This is an aft top. We build lots of sunshades for the bow. Sometimes they're 2 poles, sometimes they're 4. We've even gone as large as 6 poles on a really big boat. Custom bag to keep your sunshade nice. We picked the pearl gray on this boat because if you look, the underside of the hardtop is a light gray. When you're using your sunshade, you don't really see the top of your hardtop. You're looking at the underside of your hardtop. So instead of matching the white of the top, we decided to match the underside. So it's as easy as that. You click those into the quick release mounts, which we'll show you those in a minute. Come back here, put it through the cam cleat, pull it tight, come over here. I don't know what it's blowing today. You know what it's blowing today? It's blowing 23 knots today. So, pull it tight, man. Pull it really, really as tight as you can, because I've built this thing strong. So you can crank on it and you're not gonna hurt it. But if you wanna go underway with it, you want it to be tight, okay? So take this thing and crank it. So now people are always like, won't those things come out? Well, once you've got this sunshade up, you see how tight it is? And you're pulling on the top of this pole. I don't think Godzilla could pull that out of the rod holder. Now, it might be a dangerous situation if you're like, oh, I don't want to pull too tight, and the wind is bellowing and lifting, maybe that could come out of there. I still doubt it, but it's just safer. And you see how it's kind of buffeting in the sun? It's blowing 23 today. Crank it, man. Crank it as hard as you can crank it. And then you wrap the string above the racing cam cleat, and she's on. A lot of the less expensive sunshades will come with a warning: don't go underway. Their pull is not as substantial as this. And people are like, oh, do yours telescope? No. When I first started making shades, I was like, everybody's asking me, do they telescope? And I was like, oh wow, those telescoping poles, they got one up on me. They'll store smaller. But you lose a lot of strength because the diameter of the upper pole has to be smaller to go inside the bottom pole. That's how you either break your pole, it won't pull the canvas as tight, or it'll come with a warning: do not go underway with this sunshade. I've got running videos on my website. I tell people 25 miles an hour. I shouldn't say this, we went 30 with ours, okay? We were in Steinhatchee and I wanted to test it. So we went 30. But if you've got a 10 knot headwind and you go 30, that's like 40 miles an hour. Don't do that. Don't push it, okay? I'm telling you, you can go 25. If you've got a 10 knot tailwind, you can go 30. But on a calm day, I like them at 25, because I've sea trialed several. After you get over 30, they start to buffet enough where they just don't look like they're happy. But 20, you can cruise around at 25. They'll withstand it. You won't have any problems. So this is it. This is going to make your whole boat more comfortable. Everybody uses their boat different. Some people, the people that love the shade might all hang out in the front of the boat. You only need a bow cover. Some boats, the people that love the shade hang out in the back of the boat. You only need an aft top. Some people are like, man, I want shade everywhere. Give me a bow sunshade and an aft sunshade. So I can build you a custom sunshade, 2-pole, 4-pole, ship it to you, not wherever you're at, but anywhere's in the States. I can ship you a sunshade. I have shipped to Mexico. It's not that far away, so the shipping's not that much money. I've shipped to Puerto Rico. Look at it. You wouldn't believe how this will just transform your boat into a longer, more pleasurable day. So give us a chance to make your boat cool. Call the Canvas Factory for a custom sunshade. Everybody loves their boat, okay? Everybody. And everybody's like, oh, you're gonna put screws in my boat? Yep. In order for you to enjoy the shade, I gotta put 2 little screws in your boat. But look at the quality of this sleek little quick release mount. This is all that's gonna be on your boat when you're not using your canvas. From the rest of the boat, you don't even see it, but it's sleek. And watch how slick this is. Boom. That's how easy it is to hook it in, and it's solid. This is a nice piece of hardware. You slide the little button. You don't have to click it in, but to take it out, easy as that. And look, as long as you drill the right size hole, use the right size screw, which I provide, and a little bit of caulk in the holes. So when I send you the poles, I'm going to send you these mounts for the hard top. I'm going to send you the screws. I'm even going to send you the right size drill bit. And then when you're on your boat in whatever state it may be, we can FaceTime, or you can be on speakerphone, and I will walk you through how to drill these holes in your boat as if you've never drilled a hole in a boat in your life. Because trust me, chances are you haven't drilled as many holes in boats as I have. I have literally drilled millions of holes in boats. So I've got it down to a science, and people are like, oh my God, I got a drill in my boat. I will walk you through how to drill that hole, how to countersink that hole, how to put caulk in that hole, and how to screw the screw in. No worries, it's actually fun. I love doing this with people. They're on the tape measure, and I walk them through all the measurements, and I have fun with it. And then when they get it, no matter what state they're in, they get it and they're like, oh my gosh, look what it fits like, and I measured it. They're so proud and so happy with the product, and that makes me proud and happy too. So let us make your boat cool.
If you guys want any more information, make sure you check the link in the video description.
And thank you, boaters, for watching this video all the way to the end. I appreciate it.
We'll see you in the next video.